FORA.tv. The world is thinking.
This is going back to what Gabriel said at the beginning. First of all, on a point of fact, I have never, ever come across Julian Assange saying that the United States is enemy number one and he wants to damage it. I think that's fiction. So if you can come up with a source, you come up with it. I don't think that's true.
It's in Mr. Domscheit-Berg's
Domscheit-Berg isn't Julian, for heaven's sake.
Well, he says that's what he...
You should stick with the facts. Secondly, there's a whacking great hole in the defense of your argument here, through which journalists move in and trespass on your territory, which is this. All governments, always and everywhere, abuse the system of classification in order to conceal things which are politically embarrassing. So you complain that journalists might have a personal interest, for example, that they get paid for doing their living. I'm shocked to hear that. What about the political interests of governments who, in order to conceal embarrassment, classify material as secret, not because it damages national security, I'm still talking, simply for political reasons. Not quite, because I've got a little bit more to go. If you look, for example, at the Afghan war logs, what you see there is a military which routinely classified every single incident in which they were involved as secret. Why should we respect that kind of mechanical, routine classification? And just pull back and look what's really going on here and ask yourself, is the attempt to prosecute Bradley Manning something to do with the judicious application of the law, or a really rather vile piece of political persecution? Consider this. When we first looked at the Iraqi war logs, the first document I found in there was a description of an Iraqi prisoner whose hands were bound. He was taken away by 12 Iraqi army officers and shot in the head. Now, the interesting thing about this was that somebody videoed that and gave it to coalition forces. And the coalition forces' record of that murder on videotape, which happened very recently, December 2009, identified by name the Iraqi army major who organized that murder. Do you know what's happened so far about that video that's been in US forces' possession for all those months, that's been publicized on the front page of The Guardian months ago? Nothing. Nobody's been charged. Nobody's been locked up and had all their clothes removed. Why then would they do all this to Bradley Manning, who at worst is guilty of naivety, no kind of serious crime, no kind of serious damage, and certainly not murder?
Now, this is Nick Davies when he's hungover. And I'm interested in giving him a nap this afternoon and bringing him back on at 7 o'clock. But I'll have to talk to his keepers. Gabriel, do you want to respond?
Well, I agree that governments, all governments, our government, promiscuously uses the secrecy stamp, that overclassification and misclassification is rampant, that the press has a vital role to play in bringing about, exposing government secrets and reporting leaked information. My problem, the thing that troubles me is when the press reports information that places our security in jeopardy. Now, of course, Bradley Manning is not a journalist. He's a leaker on the other side of the fence. He's sworn an oath to protect secrets. Mm-hmm. He has every right, as a human being, to reveal those secrets. That's an act of civil disobedience. Mm-hmm. And I respect that, if that's what he was doing, although I really don't know what his motivations were. There's obviously been quite a bit of discussion about that in itself. But with civil disobedience comes consequences. Yeah. When Rosa Parks sat in the bus and refused to go to the back of the bus, she wasn't wearing a mask. She didn't leak anonymously. He leaked anonymously. He wanted to engage in civil disobedience without consequences. But now he's going to, if he faces trial, he will have an opportunity to make his case.
Yes. I'm glad to hear you move it into the area of civil disobedience, which is far closer to what he is than some kind of genuine threat to national security. And the oath that he gave is an interesting place to start. What really should be happening to the whistleblower in this case? I still refuse to cross the bridge and convict a man who's not even charged yet, or charged but not been on trial. He's broken his oath, this whistleblower. So all right, sack him, take his job away from him. Maybe you give him a very short prison sentence because there was some kind of genuine threat on the fringes of what was leaked here. This is not very highly classified material. Nobody has been killed. The roof hasn't fallen in. What is going on here, do you not agree that there is a very clear political element that is not a legal element in the reaction to Bradley Manning, to the way he's being treated?
Well, I think people are upset with the fact in our system here that large volumes of classified information were leaked to the press.
Is that a way of saying, yes, it is a political element?
Yes, rightly so.
Good for you for saying.
And
We've come a long way in the last 10 minutes.